Little one, do you want to live with your mother or your father?
When parents fight tooth and nail in court, it's always the child who suffers most. More cruel still, the judge forced 7-year-old Mu to make a life-altering choice right then and there. Mumu hesitated for a long time before finally pointing to the mother who hadn't raised her for a single day.
Are you sure?
At that moment, the deaf, mute Father Xiao Mao felt all his strength drain away, falling directly from heaven to hell. No one knew that this seemingly heartless choice was the only way the little girl could think of to protect her father.
Dad, I'm sorry, it's not that I don't want you. Please don't be mad at me. I don't want to go abroad. I want to stay with you forever.
She is sacrificing her own future just so her father can survive. The hidden pain and heartbreak behind this are truly suffocating. Today, we provide an in-depth analysis of Silent Love, hailed as the most suffocating realistic film of 2025. It brutally exposes the harsh realities of life at the bottom through silent sign language. It conveys a deafening love, the clumsy yet desperate protection of a deaf-mute father, and the heartbreaking sacrifice of a girl forced to grow up too soon. Before the story begins, let's talk about the toll divorce takes on children. In the world of adults, divorce might be a form of release, a final break between two people who are no longer right for each other. But to a child, it is a war without smoke, where their entire world is suddenly turned upside down. Every child of divorce carries an invisible scar in their heart. It's not just a broken home, but a heart that no longer has a place to belong. It's not just losing a family member, it's seeing a once complete love torn violently in two, never to be whole again. The impact of divorce isn't usually a momentary collapse for a child, rather a prolonged torment. In many families, the most hurtful, emotional blackmail occurs. If it weren't for you, I would have gotten a divorce long ago. This sentence is like a blunt knife, slowly carving away at the child's heart. A love that was meant to be pure is caught between the parents, a victim of their conflict. They live walking on eggshells, gripped by fear, like a bomb that could detonate at any moment. Solely to appease the volatile emotions of both sides, they silently endure grievances they do not deserve. After watching this film, you will feel a profound newfound reverence for the essence of fatherhood. 8 years ago, his ex-wife, then in the prime of her youth, once believed that love could transcend the silence of broken vocal cords. She threw caution to the wind and married Xiao Ma, a deaf man. But life is no fairy tale. Ultimately, love could not withstand the drudgery of daily survival, much less the despair of a silent and impoverished existence. When their daughter Mumu was only a few months old, she heartlessly abandoned them, vanishing without a trace. For 8 years, Xiao Ma played both father and mother. Within his world of silence, he collected fees in noisy mahong parlors. While working various odd jobs, he saved every single penny for his daughter's formula. It wasn't just living expenses, it was everything this humble father could do to provide his daughter with dignity. Fortunately, Mumu grew up to be a sweet and sensible child, becoming his only bridge to the world of sound. The two of them scraped by in that dilapidated mahong parlor. They were each other's sole support. He thought this simple, steady life could last forever. Just as Mumu reached school age, the ex-wife, who had been gone for 8 years, returned with her wealth and a forceful presence. She condescendingly declared that Mumu would have no future staying with a deaf father.
No money, no dignity, no future.
Xiao Ma refused to let go, but his ex-wife simply wrote 3 words on a piece of paper: a lawsuit.
You forced my hand.
Seeing those 3 words, the deaf-mute Xiao Ma was struck with panic. With a limited social circle, his only able-bodied friend Xian came the last straw he could grasp while drowning. Through Xian, Xiao Ma met a woman named Mei. On the surface, Mei eagerly took the father and daughter to see a lawyer. But who would have thought that in this seemingly professional office sat a group of demons in human clothing? By law, as long as there is no evidence of abuse, it is nearly impossible for the ex-wife to overturn the original custody ruling, much less take his daughter away from him. But instead of providing legal aid, these people preyed on his ignorance of the law and lack of connections, colluding to twist the truth. They wove a web of lies, turning legal protections into a blade of intimidation, exploiting Xiao Ma's fear of losing his daughter to push him toward the abyss. They told him that without a home or money and being disabled, he stood no chance against his wealthy ex-wife. But Anhui offered him a glimmer of hope: pay a hefty legal fee, find a stable job, and prove his ability to support his child. To the judge, to keep his daughter Xiao Ma, cast his dignity aside, swallowing his pride to beg for work everywhere. Finally, a hotel agreed to hire him as a cleaner and even made an exception to let his daughter stay in the dormitory. This job was the only ray of hope for Xiao Ma to keep his daughter. He worked more diligently than anyone, polishing every hidden corner until it sparkled, as if he wasn't polishing a table, but his own precarious future. Yet fate chose this very moment to play its most cruel joke on him. That day, while cleaning the guest rooms as usual, he knocked politely, but in his world of silence, he couldn't hear any response whatsoever. Thinking it was empty, he pushed the door open to clean. At that moment, a woman emerged from the bathroom. This silent accident immediately sparked a fierce complaint. The manager refused to even watch the deaf man's sign language explanation and fired him on the spot. Once again, life extinguished his last glimmer of hope. Just as Xiao Ma reached a dead end, Anhui showed him a crazy accident. Tian floored the gas and crashed directly into a luxury sedan. Anhui sneered as she revealed the truth. They exploited the scarcity of parts for vintage luxury cars, high valuation loopholes to stage fake accidents for insurance fraud. She promised Xiao Ma that if he risked his life, she would cover all his legal fees, plus an extra 20 yuan for every collision. Behind this massive temptation lay a fatal abyss, but by now, Xiao Ma had no other choice left. Ultimately, he chose to stake his life on the steering wheel. The first crash went off as planned. Xiao Ma was then taken behind the scenes to meet the mastermind Lao Zhao. At that moment, he was utterly shell-shocked. The lawyer meant to uphold justice and the adjuster responsible for damage assessments were now sitting with a gang of outlaws, divvying up the spoils. This man, who had been law-abiding his entire life, saw the world's coldest colors for the first time. Ignoring his fear with bloodshot eyes, he asked only one question.
And I win my custody law. So, regarding this Lao Chen, as he's been a close buddy of ours for years, I'm well aware of his capabilities. With him handling your case, there definitely won't be any problems.
Whoa.
No rush. Lawyer Chen mentioned that the court requires you to provide proof of assets. What is proof of assets? It's proof that you have the financial means to raise your daughter. Huh? How much is required? Probably around 500 yuan. I'll handle the money. I can transfer a car to your name to prove it's your asset. Why are you helping me? We look out for our own. Your business is my business.
The so-called proof of assets was nothing but a scam fabricated by Lao Zhao. Unaware of the truth, Xiao Ma was so moved that he nearly knelt in gratitude. Little did he know, they were all wolves in sheep's clothing. By transferring the car to his name, they were merely setting him up as a scapegoat. Once the scheme is exposed, Xiao Ma, as the legal owner, would bear all the blame, while behind the scenes the mastermind Lao Zhao could walk away unscathed. More heartbreakingly, under Lao Zhao's manipulation, hearing impaired people like Xiao Ma had become silent consumables in his pocket. They cannot hear the evil surrounding them, nor can they cry out for help. Their communication barriers made it easy to bypass police checks. Even under interrogation, they remained tight-lipped, becoming the criminal's darkest and cheapest shield.
We're not breaking the law, are we? Oh, please. As long as I'm here, isn't everyone doing just fine?
From that point on, Xiao Ma plummeted into the abyss. By day, he was a humble single father, struggling to survive. By night, he donned a helmet, tightened his gear, and became a mere tool for one suicidal crash after another. Every mission was a success, but he was gambling with his life. The violent impacts left him covered in gruesome bruises. Every day he returns home, he applies medicine in secret, terrified his daughter might find out. Yet the observant Moo saw everything. That night he headed out as usual, unaware that Moo had been feigning sleep. In this silent household, a child's perception of danger is far more acute than an adult's. She quietly followed him, slipping into the shadows of the back seat. After driving for a while, Xiaoma locked onto his target and floored the accelerator, charging ahead. The other driver flashed his lights, warning him of the lane violation, just as the collision was about to strike.
Where are you going? Hey.
Xiaoma was paralyzed with terror. He wanted to scream for help, but no sound came out. Fortunately, Mumu was only knocked unconscious from shock. Her life was not in danger. Hearing the news, his ex-wife arrived and took their daughter away without giving Xiaoma a single chance to explain. At the sight of her resolute gaze, he stood there helpless like a child who had done something wrong.
I'll see you in court.
Soon after the custody hearing commenced, the judge knelt beside Mumu, asking her to make a choice.
Would you like to live with your mother or your father?
In the end, her small finger pointed toward the mother, who had never raised her. At that moment, everyone expected Xiaoma to crumble, but a flicker of relief crossed his eyes instead. Despite the agonizing pain of parting, he still respected his daughter's choice. After that crash, he finally understood the true meaning of fear. He would rather have her hate him than have her follow him into a life of wandering and constant peril. The case was lost, but his fatherly love had never wavered. From then on, a figure was always seen hiding behind a tree at the school gate. The only thing Xiaoma could do was watch his daughter from afar as she left school, without ever disturbing her. But in her new blended family, Mumu felt more like an unwanted outsider. Her stepfather and his son were the true center of the home. She sat in the corner as if even her breathing had to be cautious. Mumu finally realized that while her mother provided a life of luxury, it was her mute father who gave her a real home and true love. Every night, Xiaoma would sit alone in the dark, blowing his whistle over and over again. The whistle was sharp and loud, yet he could never hear it himself. He only remembered how Mumu used to run to him the moment she heard that sound. This silent vigil was the only light in his world of absolute silence, until the day his ex-wife decided to take Mumu and immigrate overseas. At the airport, Mu kept looking back with every step, longing for one last look at her father. Just when she thought they would never see each other again, a familiar whistle pierced through the crowd, and she spotted her father instantly. She rushed to the glass partition.
Dad, I'm sorry I wasn't abandoning you. Please don't be mad at me. I want to go abroad. I want to be with you forever.
Dad. A kiss goodbye, my baby.
Since I won't be here, stop trying to make that money. Stop driving for them. Just one last look.
But before they could truly reunite, the police suddenly appeared and pinned Xiaoma violently to the ground.
My dad is a good man.
Watching the news footage of her father being arrested, Mumu finally whispered the deepest secret hidden in her heart.
If I stay with him, it will be the death of him. He only got into trouble because of me. Everything would be better if I were to.
It goes like this.
Inside the detention center, the diabolical Lao Zhao finally bared his fangs, delivering A chilling death threat through sign language.
I'm with the animated protective. Oh? Don't move, come on out.
To protect his daughter, Xiao Ma chose to yield in court. At this moment, he was like a puppet on a string, taking a fall for every single charge. Meanwhile, the true mastermind boss Zhao began his performance in front of the crowd. He feigned sympathy for the disabled, framing himself as an innocent victim deceived by Xiao Ma.
I admit, I covered for him, Officer Tong. It was only because he is a person with a disability, but I never imagined he would become so emboldened later on.
Just as the prosecution prepared to convict young Mo, shattered the silence.
Following our investigation, we've determined that while the defendant lived with his daughter, he began committing these crimes, even staging insurance accidents with his daughter in the vehicle. What would show such blatant disregard for his daughter's life? Such an irresponsible father, his hearing impairment, deserves absolutely no sympathy. The prosecution requests the court to pass judgment according to the law.
My dad isn't like that. Music does.
In that instant, his silent companions railed against the injustice in unison with furious gestures. Seeing the bailiffs take his daughter away, Xiao Ma completely lost it. He wasn't afraid of prison, nor was he afraid of death. His greatest fear was that Boss Zhao's demonic threats would become a reality. In despair, Xiao Ma fell to his knees before the judge, even striking his own forehead violently with his handcuffs. He only wanted to plead guilty and end this trial, immediately begging for them to just leave his daughter alone. I witnessed the scene, and the final defenses in her heart completely crumbled. She finally found the courage to recant all her previous statements.
I knew everything about Tian Dao's stage crash. Xiao was the driver I recruited. I learned sign language specifically for this, because deaf people are obedient and easy to deceive. They do exactly what you tell them to. We orchestrated the whole thing. Xiao didn't know anything about it.
So those forged bank statements in the vehicle, transfer procedures, were those all handled by you? What was the nature of your deal?
We conned him, but if so, why did he confess? Because he just wanted to protect his daughter.
This confession was like a crack of light piercing through the darkness. It didn't just clear Xiaoma's name, it dismantled the criminal syndicate that had been hidden for years. Before the sentencing, the judge gave Xiaoma a chance to speak. With trembling hands, he signed the most powerful confession of his life.
I have committed a crime. I'm sorry. I was wrong. I am a deaf man. I have a kind daughter. I worked hard just to give Mu the best life possible. But it was so hard. I only knew how to smile at others.
But no one ever understood me.
No.
Fortunately, Mumu was there to translate for me. I thought it would be enough to have, a little world. But her mother wanted to take Mumu abroad. I was afraid. I was afraid I'd never see Mu again. I shouldn't have kept her by my side, just to be my ears. I was so selfish. Momo, you must become your own person and grow up well. I don't deserve to be your father. I've been thinking lately. Why can't I hear? Why can't I speak? I so wish I could hear your voice. A parent's voice must be the most beautiful sound in the world.
How could they not be moved? Though Xiao Ma couldn't make a sound, his silent plea moved everyone present to tears. The world might not hear his cries, but the law finally recognized his integrity. Given the circumstances, Xiao Ma was eventually sentenced to 6 years in prison. 6 years later, the sun shines just as brightly. After his release, Xiao Ma didn't bow to life's hardships. Together with his deaf friends who stood by him, he opened a silent housekeeping company, and that little girl, who to save her father in court bravely faced the darkness, has now graduated from college. Mumu gave up a comfortable life abroad and resolutely returned home to become a professional public welfare sign language interpreter. Once her father was her only harbor, now she has become the voice for thousands of others like him. Silence is never weakness. In that wordless space lies the most burning love and the strongest backbone. The world may not hear their cries, but love and justice will never be absent. Watching Silent Love left me feeling both heavy-hearted and deeply moved. It tells more than just the story of a deaf father. It's about a group ignored by the world, yet struggling with all their might to survive. Xiao Ma can't hear or speak. He can only express his love through gestures and a whistle. He lived a humble and cautious life, used as a tool by villains and trampled upon by life. Yet, the softest place in his heart was always reserved for his daughter Momo. It's not that he didn't feel pain, or that he wasn't afraid to die. It's just that she feared for her daughter's well-being far more than her own. What touches me most about this film is the power within the silence. They cannot hear the world's clamor, yet they understand kindness better than anyone. They cannot voice their grievances, yet they value devotion more than anyone. Exploited, bullied, and treated as consumables, yet they never turn to malice, remaining steadfast in their inner kindness. And then there's Muma. As a child, she chose her mother, not because she didn't love her father, but because her father chose to let go to ensure her safety. When she grew up, she gave up a life of luxury to return and work as a sign language interpreter, because she understood that while her father had once shielded her from the world, now she must be the voice for everyone like him. What's most moving is the ending. Xiao Ma never blamed fate, making a living with his own hands alongside his friends, while Mumu uses her expertise to speak for countless voiceless souls. Life was not kind to them, but in the end, they did not let life defeat them. This film made me realize that true love never needs a sound. A true backbone never needs to shout to be strong. They are quiet and silent, yet they live with more dignity than many who are able-bodied and with far more warmth.